Welcome back, everybody. Bitcoin is dropping out of the descending triangle that we've been discussing over the past few days. So we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We'll take a look at some altcoins. I have a request today. So guys, if you leave a comment and subscribe on today's video, I'll take a look at some requests in the next video as well. So hit that like, subscribe, comment, tick the bell for notifications. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. As always, do your own research, trade at your own risk. These are my own ideas and opinions on the market, okay guys? I am not responsible for your trades, but I will do my best to break down the charts for you, okay? Looking at the market, the volume did pick back above a billion. We see red across the board. EOS has a slight gain, interesting. Tether is slightly up. That's because people are moving their funds out of the altcoins, out of Bitcoin, over to Tether. Is it Mayday? Is it Mayday? Are we crashing? We'll take a look, see what's happening. Okay, guys? Fear and greed back down to a 44. People are getting nervous. The block having closer and closer. 76 days. All right. Quick little news story here. Basically, I'm not too concerned about why this guy says it's absurd or not. But basically, the debate today and yesterday is, okay, so the coronavirus, is it affecting the price of Bitcoin? We saw last month, we were talking about Bitcoin being a safe haven asset. You saw when the virus started gaining traction in the news that gold was performing well. We saw Bitcoin was performing well. Everyone was talking about a safe haven asset. However, yesterday, when the news was breaking that this coronavirus has spread to Italy, it's only getting worse. Fear is growing across the globe. We saw the stock market crash hard. We saw gold pump and Bitcoin hardly moved. And then today it's dumping a bit as well. And you saw they had a bit of a poll right here. And how do you think, coronavirus will affect Bitcoin? And it's about 25%, split across the board. 27% said increases in price, 21% decrease in price. 26% disrupt Asian miners, 24% no effect at all. This pretty much seems neutral to me. My opinion on the news is that people try to find news stories to interpret what has already happened in the price, okay? But, if we didn't have any news stories at all, and we are only looking at the chart, we saw lower highs and we saw a descending triangle. I don't need to hear any news to know that if this descending triangle breaks, it's going to break bearish, okay? I don't need any news to tell me that we're on a lower high trend right now. So that's why I don't pay too much attention to the news, okay? If you were following the news, you would also say that this pump here was because of, China's news on, adopting blockchain. They had a big news story that China was going to be the forefront of blockchain, and you had this single day pump here, okay? If you believe that the news was the cause of that, you probably went into a long and then ended up getting destroyed here. However, if you were watching the charts, there were other indicators. There were trend lines that were drawn, from here to there. You could just see it right here, I think. It's been a while since I've done it. But let's look. I think it was something like that. Boom. So you had a descending trend line here, and you had a rising trend line here, and it happened to meet right there. Okay, you also had a lot of people bottom shorting here. This was a short squeeze to clear out all of the shorts that had built up. Everyone who was super bearish, thinking they were going to catch this move down, they got short squeezed. So was it a short squeeze or was it the China pump? Okay, is this the coronavirus or was this just price action? That's my point. I'll still take a look at the news stories. I know that's what a lot of people are interested in sometimes. But guys, remember, the most important thing here is going to be the charts. I mean, we're talking about Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin and crypto is highly speculative, highly speculative. So that's why technical analysis comes into play more so than in stocks. Stocks, you know, there's technical analysis involved, but there's more fundamentals involved there. The fundamentals aren't so strong in Bitcoin, okay? You know, people use the fundamentals for hype stories. So we do have, you know, the halving is coming up soon, and that could be considered a fundamental. And we did see a nice little rally, but these are usually hype driven based on speculation. All right, so moving on, let's break down the Bitcoin chart, and we'll look at this, you know, 4-hour, 12-hour, daily, weekly. Make sure this air is turned off. Sorry. And also, you know, we'll look at a couple of the alts real quick. You know, guys, I started charting the alts last week, and we have only gone down since. And that is another prime example of how FOMO works. By the time, you know, the average person wants to buy into Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin trader who is just stubborn, wants to get into some altcoins, it's usually the top. I'm glad I started charting it, because if we do see a bounce, you know, in the next week or month or whenever we start an uptrend again, I'll already be prepared. I already have some funds allocated to a altcoin trading portfolio, and I'll be prepared this time. I missed out here. But when I started looking at the charts, I saw some bearish signals, and we'll look at that. So I never entered an altcoin trade. So anyways, we were looking at this descending triangle formation, and we talked about either getting a close above here for bullish continuation, or a close beneath this horizontal for a bearish continuation. Now, the thing that's scary for me is how strong 9550, 9600 was extremely strong support. You saw this held up this descending triangle back here. This was the top of the 2019 rally, and you saw a descending triangle form here. This looked like a smaller version, and we held up price. When it broke hard. It used it as resistance. We flipped it as support, and now we're losing it as support. That's not great to see. And that just makes me think that there's definitely potential for more to come down here. It doesn't have to happen immediately. If we look at the 4-hour, we can see that, you know, a bounce will come soon. You know, I don't know how high that bounce is going to be, but we are looking at lower highs as we've described in this YouTube channel as well. So I think somewhere around here, you know, if we look at our RSI, when the RSI broke this uptrend here, that was on this move, I said that there was a change in trend. The RSI broke this rising trend line, and also we broke this rising trend line. That was a change in trend, and I said that bounces were meant for shorting. It was kind of a bold call, considering how bullish everyone was. And it turns out bounces were meant for shorting. This bounce here was to fill a CME gap up here. And then we immediately, after filling the gap, dropped. I caught a nice short there. And then, you know, we were still stuck in this triangle. So we floated our way up, which I was expecting, but I was not looking to trade, because when we're in a bearish trend, I'm looking for shorts, not longs, okay? And I wanted to short up here, knowing that there was going to be a CME gap below. I wasn't at the house, and you know, by the time I got home, we had already dumped and filled that CME gap, so I missed that trade. And unfortunately, guys, I got stopped out at break even last night. I took a trade. I took an opportunity at a short somewhere around here. Wasn't my best position, but I saw that, you know, we broke this rising trend line, and I'm showing all of these things sort of in hindsight, but this is what we can learn from looking forward. Okay, so we saw that we had this rising channel right here, so we broke out of it, and it felt like the pressure was coming down. It looked like a descending triangle. Descending triangles most often break down. So I went ahead, took a chance on a trade here. I didn't really want to wait all the way down here. And you know what? It came up to my entry point at one point yesterday, and I moved my stop just above at a minimal risk. We ended up falling, and we closed the 4-hour beneath this horizontal. I had to go to sleep. So after closing this 4-hour candle beneath our horizontal, I was looking for that. I moved my stop to break even, and we pumped up right to my stop, closed me out, and then dumped. I wake up. I would have been in nice profit, but this is how trading works. You can't catch all of them. So what do I do now? And this is the question I'm sure everybody wants to know. But what do we do now? Okay, so we're on the 4-hour. We'll start here. The 4-hour Stokes are super low and could get a potential cross at some point. When you're looking for shorts, so we are looking at lower highs until proven otherwise, okay? You're looking for the Stokes to cross down from the top. So this was a good area, but we were still bullish here, so we weren't sure if this was a good signal or not at the time. But after we saw a change in trend, this cross down was good. This cross down was amazing. This cross down was also good. All the way down here, not my favorite place to place a short. We will probably, this will cross at some point, and we'll probably get a rise in price. And then when we're looking for our next cross down, will be another opportunity to short, okay? Where would that short possibly come in at? Well, breakout retest. So we finally broke the horizontal support. If we do get a cross up, we could look to retest this horizontal, float our way back up here. And if we get rejected by this right here, you're going to get a cross down. So this would be a good area if you want to short. This would be a good area to short. And I'm talking about margin trading, guys. I know a lot of you that watch me understand I'm primarily just a margin trader. So, I'm not, when I'm talking about shorting, I'm not telling people to, sell their Bitcoin or anything. I'm always holding spot Bitcoin. I'm always inherently long on Bitcoin, but using margin exchanges, I can make profits off the price going down, okay? And I can increase my profits if I do a margin long, where I'm basically borrowing extra BTC for a specific trade, okay? So just know the difference between spot and margin. Big strategy difference. If you're only a hodler and you're holding spot, this is going to be very different. I personally on spot, I don't like to be in and out, in and out. It's just way too difficult. Margin trading makes it way easier to protect your capital. So I do suggest, possibly learning how to margin trade. If you don't, I would also suggest using a trial account where you get to play with like fake money, or just using very small amounts, because it is different. It's a different game. You can get wrecked, all right? But it is possible to learn. Everyone can learn, okay? So back to the chart. Basically, if we retest up here, that will be, a good sell for me, I think. If we break back above and we start closing candles back in the triangle, then this will be a fake out. And we'll look to, break the upside, break this descending trend line, okay? Where would our support come in? So say this isn't the bottom and the Stokes can coast a little longer. I have this horizontal drawn at 91.54. We had this range here, so, I think we would find support along the bottom of this range as well. So this is your new range, okay? So we could come all the way here, potentially, maybe bounce and retest here, or maybe we get our bounce now and retest, all right? Let's look at our not stochastics, moving averages. Moving averages, the 4-hour broke beneath the 200 EMA and the pink 200 simple, and actually it's already retested it as resistance and rejected. Your 377 is coming in at 9,068 on our EMAs, okay? Let's look at the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, you did close the last 4-hour beneath the bottom band, and this is currently beneath it as well. If this is a strong move, these could ride on the outside of the band. Otherwise, you could be looking to retest the middle BB resistance is coming in at 9,700. But like I say, I think 9,550 will be stronger resistance. Strong support, broke bearish, flipped resistance. Most often the case. Ichimoku clouds. All right, so the Ichimoku clouds forming a red cloud right now. Also a bearish sign. You have the bearish Kumo cross started back here. This was your first warning sign. The blue conversion line crossed beneath the pink. Okay. Let's move on to the 12-hour. Let's take a look out here. 12-hour, we are hitting support. We have this green Ichimoku cloud support, but we did break into it. So we'll have to see how this 12-hour candle closes. If we close in the cloud, your support potentially could come all the way down here to the bottom of the cloud, which is at 84.60. 12-hour Stokes, they didn't really know what to do. They are currently crossed down at the moment, okay? And you can see that the pink and the blue, they're starting to converge. If the blue crosses beneath the pink, that's also another bearish Kumo cross, okay? Bollinger Bands. Your middle BB will be resistance at 97.53, and we are hitting support at the bottom of the middle BB. So, we could form a little bit of a sideways action right here. In this lower BB line might start drooping down to give us more room to come down this way, okay? You can see how using these Bollinger Bands, you can usually find where your resistance and support are on these moves, okay? Your RSI still has room to go on the 12-hour, and also we looked like we might have broken this trend here, but you kind of still have a descending trend line on the 12-hour RSI, so eventually we'll like to see that break to see a change in trend for the bulls, okay? Let's go to our moving averages. On the moving averages, we did hit, basically we could say we hit the 100 EMA on the 12-hour at 92.27. Yesterday's tweets, I was calling for 9200s. If we did break 95.50, that was using my moving averages. I think the daily will show that in a second too. We came down to 92.77, so close enough. All right. Going to the daily. So sorry, not to skip this. So that will be your support at 92.27, and your resistance will be the 50 EMA at 96.34. Going to the daily. So yeah, on the daily, your 50 EMAs at 92.36. So that's why I was calling for 9200s. You also have price action in here. And here, this little, we can draw like a rectangle real quick. Well, this rectangle actually, is this exact range I have drawn out with this resistance. So we could form a little bit of a range, potential even like head and shoulders. You have like a left shoulder, head. If we bounced, got rejected here, right shoulder, and then your target. If this was a left shoulder, head formed a right shoulder, your target would be down here at 83.80. All right. So the scary part about that is if we came all the way down here, we would break beneath the 21 EMA on the weekly, which I would not like to see. But we'll get to the weekly in just a second. Let's take a look. So here's another bearish sign. Unfortunately, the pink 200 simple on the daily has a downward slope, and now this downward slope is actually increasing. So guys, we're going to need to find support somewhere in this region soon. Otherwise, this was just a, I don't know what you could call it, a sucker's rally, a massive bull trap, a fake out, whatever you want to call it. Or this is, the halving hype. Let me look real quick while I'm thinking about it. Let me go out to the weekly. I am on my Bitstamp chart. I think, okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so this was the previous two halvings. Let's look at this one. Okay, we can zoom. Let's look at this one. Go to the daily. See if this looks a little better. Sorry, let me get back over there. Sloppy. Let me zoom in with this. Perfect. All right. So, right before the halving, the previous one in 2016, you had a nice little rally from here to here. That's about 80%. And then before the rally, and this is what, about a month. So we're looking at, 2.5 months away from our halving. But about a month before this halving, they had a savage drop, about 30%. It kind of regained, went sideways, and then after the halving, just continued to go sideways, and then had another drop, down 30%. This is the last halving. I don't know why people think that this halving we're just going straight to the moon. I can see why we had a rally before the halving. We had one here, but then it's just clear we dumped. I mean, from the top of this to this is 38%. And then after we cleared everybody out, then we went on our rise. Let's look at the one before that. I mean, I don't know why everyone's ignoring that. I mean, here's another one, okay? On this channel, I just keep it real. I'm not trying to fluff anything. If it looks bullish, I'm going to be bullish with you guys. I want it to be bullish. I want people to be happy in this space. I want more people to watch my videos. I mean, not everyone can really stomach the bearishness. So, I mean, I'll get more views if I can be bullish. But at the same time, like, I'm a trader, and I think you will benefit more if you just have a realistic approach. So we had a nice run up before this first halving. Looks good. And then a savage dump, went sideways. And this one we did increase right after the halving. Okay? So, but before it, we also had a sell-off. So two out of two, we had a sell-off before the halving. The first one, price started going up after the halving. The second one, price continued to go down and then went up. All right, so we got that out of the way. Little intermission, halving talk. Let's go back to our weekly. Back to the weekly. And guys, I don't know what's going to happen, all the time. Like, I just have probabilities. This isn't, a crystal ball here. Trading Bitcoin is like playing poker. You can only have, probabilities. And, if they look like they're in your favor, you have a better chance. But you never are 100% sure. And that's why I flip my bias, so often. Because I'm prepared for both sides. If I'm not prepared for both sides, I'm going to get destroyed, okay? So anyways, the 21 weekly EMA coming in at 88.16. We need to see this hold as support. Your 10 simple did cross above it. It's at 88.94. So, if we do break beneath 9,200, 9,000, we need to hold support here. If we can't hold support here, it's going to be unfortunate. And this will just look like some type of just like hype rally, that the whales just manipulated, pushed price up. People started FOMO. The people with big money knew that the halving was coming, and they knew that they could push the price, and they knew that retail would jump on board with the FOMO, okay? Just, thinking psychology. Could the price bounce here and we go skyrocketing? Yes, but we're going to wait for confirmations first. The first confirmation would be to see us get back above 95.50. That's my opinion. This is not financial advice. Bollinger Bands, your support's going to be at 84.97, okay? Did hit the resistance. Middle BB, 84.97. Ichimoku Clouds. Ichimoku Clouds, bottom of the cloud is going to be at, where are we here? 86.83. All right. So unfortunately, the bottom of the Ichimoku Cloud and the middle BB on the weekly are beneath the 21 weekly EMA. I'd like to see us bounce off the 21 weekly EMA, and we're getting our first hint at a cross down on the stochastics, weekly stochastics. So we do need to find support soon. Let's say we don't find support soon. What are we going to look at? We're going to look at our Fibonacci's, okay? We're going to look at our Fibonacci's, and then I'm pretty much done with my analysis on Bitcoin. We can move over to the altcoins. All right. So remember, if you want to request an altcoin for the next video, subscribe, comment on this video here. All right. So we'll draw from this swing low to this swing high. We did find support on the 236, and we are breaking beneath. Your next level on the fibs is 0.382 at 89.40. I would love to see us find support here. We can see how we had hit this resistance level, so this could be a nice support resistance flip support right here. Otherwise, your next level is the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement at 84.60, and then the golden retracement down here around 8,000. We do have this rising trend line drawn, support along the way, support here. So if all hell breaks loose and we start looking at further Fibonacci retracements, we're going to see us want to find support along this rising trend line. This is where our halving is coming in. So could we have some sideways action before the halving and then take off? This is a possibility, okay? One level at a time, okay? I think we, potentially will retest the top here. We broke it, retest it. If we are rejected down to 9,200, 91.50, then you're looking at maybe the 0.382 to the downside. If we are able to regain 95.50 and this was just a fake out, then we want to see us break this lower high trend, okay? That's Bitcoin. Lower highs. Need to break that. You could say, just looking at this, there is an argument that we're in a falling channel. So if this was not a descending triangle and this was just a falling channel and this is a bullish pattern, we still need to regain 95.50, and then we still need to close a 4-hour open and close above this trend line, and then we can take off. One step at a time. All right? That was already 30 minutes. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to go real quick. I had a lot to explain, so I'm just going to go super quick through the altcoins, and like I promised, I did have a request to look at Power Ledger at the very end. All right, so hit that like, subscribe if you're still here, and let's do this real quick. Okay, not a whole lot to show. We're just bearish across the board. Bitcoin runs the show, so if Bitcoin's dumping, they're all going to dump. Tezos had trouble getting back above the horizontal that we talked about in previous videos. And we also broke this low here, so now officially you do have a lower low. I'm not too bullish on the moment here. Looking at our moving averages, you're still breaking low. We could, get a bounce on the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, retest 100 EMA. Looking at the daily breaking beneath the 21 EMA. I mean, this was super overextended. It needed a correction. And we'll just have to wait to see, a bounce form before I can, jump board. I'm not just going to buy every little dip. What if we keep coming down? We want to see, some type of, bullish confirmation. XRP, we lost the support here. We had drawn, a support, horizontal support. It's kind of like Bitcoin's horizontal support was very important. We lost it. You're looking at the 200 simple pink holding support at 25 cents on the daily. Unfortunately for XRP, we are trading beneath the weekly 21 EMA. There's a lot of time left in this week, so you're going to want to see this close above the 21 weekly EMA at 25.6, okay? If not, most of the altcoins and cryptos are above the 21 weekly EMA. This one, for whatever reason, is looking the weakest, and you're looking at lower highs still, unfortunately. high, lower high, lower high, lower high. If we close this weekly beneath the 21 EMA, you could start looking at lower lows. And this was a crucial horizontal support here. Look, resistance, flip support. We finally tried to get back above it and can't maintain. So not good to be, back under this horizontal here. This is on a weekly chart too. Okay, moving on, Litecoin. Litecoin still above all moving averages. So, if we can maintain above here, that will be bullish. And then we want to see, Litecoin break this descending trend line down the road potentially. This one looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. If you go down to the daily, we did have this falling channel and it looked like it did break bullish. So I was like, keep an eye on Litecoin. Could be an indicator for Bitcoin. But we are breaking back beneath. This looks like a fake out and more downside coming, lower highs here. Okay, Link back beneath the 21 EMA. We had this potential ascending triangle. We broke out of it and are falling down on the daily. Not looking so good at the moment. Need to see some more bullishness. I'm not entering any altcoins at the moment. You have plenty of room to come down. 21 weekly EMAs at $2.78. Not saying we have to come down here, but this is where your support is on the weekly. Ethereum also looked like it was in an ascending triangle. Link broke out of its ascending triangle first, and now Ethereum is falling as well. Daily support, let's see, this one is still above the 21 EMA. $247 around will be your support. If you lose that, your next level would be $214. The stochastics, just curious, coming down on the daily, on the 4 hour, pretty low as well. So, if Bitcoin bounces, Ethereum could also bounce right here. But just know that you have this rising trend line. If it does bounce, it could retest as resistance, get rejected, and fall down. Okay? And that's that for now. I don't need to look at the rest. We kind of get the picture. And there was one request from yesterday. Power. Let's see. Yesterday it looked like it was an ascending triangle. And we'll have to follow up and see what it looks like now. Let's see. I was looking at the daily, I think. On the daily. The daily still looks decent. So you have this ascending triangle, and this is what I saw yesterday actually. Pretty interesting. So you can draw it like this, okay? So right now on power, if you can get a daily candle close above this horizontal, this looks like a nice bullish formation. The rest of the market's dumping, so it might end up falling with it, but right now you're still maintaining this ascending triangle. You break out. If you break bearish beneath this rising trend line, it could start to look like Link or Ethereum's chart. Bullish, boom. But right now, you're in the triangle. So, and it's starting to squeeze. So maybe, if you were trading this back here, you could have, sold here, bought here, sold here, bought here, but now you're getting in the middle, so I would wait for a confirmation either direction. Your daily on the Stokes look like they're crossing up though, so this chart looks a lot better than most of the charts we're looking at. You're above your 377 on the daily. Let's look at the weekly real quick. The weekly, you're finding support above the 50 EMA on the weekly, so as long as you stay above that, your potential next target would be the 100 EMA at 20 cents. If you lose the 50 EMA, your 21 weekly EMA support is at 6 cents. Okay, so there you have it. But the weekly Stokes also looking for a potential cross down. So keep your eye on this level here, your support. If you are able to break that horizontal, you could have potential target up here. All right, it's been a long video. There was a lot to talk about, and I hope that you were able to benefit. Just know that it's a good time to be cautious. Yes, you could get a little bit of a bounce, but you're going to want to see that bounce sustain above 95.50 and then break that descending triangle if we are going to continue upwards. Otherwise, you're looking at a potential range in here, and I showed you the Fibonacci targets to the downside, one level at a time. Okay, so until next time, I'm out. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops.